Hello, and welcome back to the Vibrant Soulful Wellness Podcast. This is your podcast for ideas, practices, and strategies for living and working more vibrantly and soulfully. And I'm your host, Annie Barrett. I've spent years guiding individuals, groups, and workplaces toward higher health and greater fulfillment using the tools of coaching, lifestyle medicine, habit change science, mindfulness, Ayurveda, and yoga. And I'm glad you're here. In this episode, we are talking about journaling our way to higher well-being. And I'm going to be sharing how I have been a journaler all my life, and I'm going to be sharing 6 different journal strategies that can help elevate your well-being physically, mentally, and emotionally. So I think I was in 3rd grade when I was given my first journal. It was called a diary. At the time, it said "My Diary" on the front. It was one of those cute little diaries that had a little key that fit in. Um, and since then, I have filled up dozens and dozens, I don't even know how many, books, journals, notebooks, some of them fancy and pretty, some of them very plain. And I have kept this as a tool because it has enhanced my physical and mental and emotional health in so many ways. It has made me a better parent. Journaling has made me a better partner. Journaling has been something that I've used to soothe myself when life has been challenging, for me to organize my thoughts, and generally speaking, to keep me in a good space mentally, mental health. And indeed, the research on journaling bears this out. Journaling can be a huge boon for helping people manage their stress because writing down events can help people cope with the impact of emotions that can be tied to things that have gone on. Journaling can help elevate a mood. It can help people prioritize their problems and their concerns and help them figure out better ways to control those problems and concerns. It's a tool for self-awareness. There's a word in the yoga tradition called swadhyaya, self-study. And I think that journaling is a fabulous way of increasing our self-awareness, discovering who we are, addressing things about ourselves that we wish to change or areas in which we want to grow and develop ourselves. In this way, it can really help us with resilience. It can help us move through challenging times to higher ground, and it can help us reach out for the kinds of support that we might need during times of challenge. And it can help us identify triggers or symptoms or things that we're noticing that we need to manage or control, whether it's mentally or physically, so that we have a better sense of self-management. Okay, so many different great reasons for journaling, and I'm going to share with you 6 different journal techniques. And I also want to say that as you're doing this, a lot of them are done, with a notebook and a pen, because the idea is that doing something physical is one of the ways in which we can process stuff that's going on. But at the same time, it's not to say that you can't find other ways. We all have phones these days, and there are some really good journal apps out there. And I've also been known to use voice memos for helping me process the same way I would write in a journal sometimes when I'm out and about, to jot down an idea or to process an emotion or even to brainstorm something. So these are also tools that we can use. So the first type of journaling that I like to have, and this is why I always have a notebook and a pen next to my bed, is the brain dump. Brain dump. And I use brain dump journaling when my head is cluttered. When do I do this? Well, often I'll do this at bedtime, like if I'm realizing, oh my gosh, there's a lot on my mind and I don't want to go to sleep with all the content that's in my mind. And so what you do is you just simply grab your notebook. And if you feel like you need to time it, you can grab a timer and you just write down everything that's on your mind without any editing, without any organization. You're just dumping. That's what it's called, a brain dump. You're just dumping your thoughts onto the page, getting out whatever is in your head quickly rather than making it look neat or coherent. It can be free association. And sometimes I'll even do this in the middle of the night if I wake up and I realize my mind is ruminating, I'm reeling with something. So it's really good for, as I like to say, getting rid of the flotsam and jetsam that might be cluttering my mind It is great to help focus my mind. It can help us organize. It can help us actually boost our creativity and productivity. Sometimes a brain dump can look a little bit more like a brainstorm where you have a whole bunch of ideas and you just want to put them all out there. And so it might even be something that you'll might find yourself doing if it's the middle of the workday and you realize you need some help with figuring out what's at the top of the list. You might dump out all the ideas that you have and figure out which one is the most viable idea to move forward with. So there you go, brain dump, exactly what it sounds like. It is a journal strategy to use when your head is cluttered. Okay, the second strategy is called Purge emotional writing. And if you look it up, you might see PEW or PEW. And this is a strategy to use when you feel emotionally worked up. Maybe all of a sudden a big emotion, a big upset, a big feeling of anger or fear or just feeling pissed off. You feel it in you and it rises up. And so you realize you need to do something, because if you were to act on this emotion, you would not be being very skillful for yourself or those around you. And so you want to work it out. And so you grab your notebook and a pen again, find a quiet place where you won't be distracted. And the recommendation is to sit down and to set a timer for 12 minutes. And you just start writing whatever it is disturbing your peace. And it does not have to look pretty. Whether it is something that somebody did, whether it's your health, whether it's finances, whether it's a relationship, anything that is disturbing your peace. You don't think about it. You just start and you write for 12 minutes without stopping. And then the idea of it, why it's called Purge, is this isn't necessarily for you to look at later. This is something that you want to get off your chest and you want to get rid of. So you can you can rip those pages out, take them you can either shred them and put them in the trash. You might even burn them. Something that is getting rid of it. It is a kind of a release practice. And the goal is to kind of neutralize the upset kind of energy that you had that might have been negative energy, and you just get rid of it. So traditionally, when you read about it, you might say burn it, but you also, of course, could shred it. It is a journal entries that you're not even going to keep. You're just going to get them off your chest and get going with them. So that's the second strategy is purge emotional writing. Okay, the third strategy is similar, but a little different. It's called expressive writing. And it is actually a tool that is written about in the book by the same name, Expressive Writing, Words That Heal, by James W. Pennebaker, PhD, and John F. Evans, EDD. And there is research that backs up this particular kind of writing. This is the kind of journaling to do when you want to dive into a particular experience that has left a lasting emotional effect. And basically, it involves honestly and freely reflecting on a particular challenge. That challenge could be a distressing experience, it could be a traumatic experience. Some people even refer to expressive writing as an emotional disclosure. And in a session of 15 or 20 minutes, you write your deepest feelings and thoughts related to a personally stressful or distressing life experience. And it may be something that you write about more than once. In the research that Pennebaker and others have done, they started to do this research with college students, and they found that students who wrote about a traumatic experience or experiences for 4 days, 15 minutes a day, for a period of time, ended up going to the student health center less over the next 6 months. And this study started to receive a lot of attention from other scientists, clinical and social psychologists, and it's kind of set a precedent for researching expressive writing. His research project has been replicated many times with many positive outcomes. If you look up Pennebaker and expressive writing, you'll find a lot of research on it. And this kind of provides benefits over time. So it may be that you come back to the same issue again and again, and you slowly begin to process it. And frankly, I would say that expressive writing might be something that you do on your own, and it might be something that you also do coupled with the work of a mental health provider. If you find there are things that are coming up in the journal that you want to get support with, that you reach out and you find a mental health provider that can support you with those. So that's the third strategy, expressive writing. And the fourth strategy is gratitude journal. And you've probably heard a lot about gratitude journals. Maybe you've tried it on your own. There are a lot of benefits associated with gratitude practices in general and with gratitude journaling specifically. These include helping people sleep better, actually helping improve physical health symptoms, improving relationships, lifting mood, and as I like to say, it counteracts our negativity bias. If you've heard me talk about negativity bias before, you know that it's a topic that I bring up from time to time. Negativity bias is basically our humans' evolutionary strategy that we've had for scanning our horizon for bad news, anything that could go wrong, anything that is going wrong, and we remember things that have gone wrong in the past. And all of these stick to us, they're sticky. Some people, even Dr. Rick Hansen says, they stick to us like Velcro. Well, when they're sticking to us in that way, it's making our mind continually focusing on the negative. Now, it's not to say that we need to be Pollyannish, and it's important to bring attention and to be aware of things that could go wrong and negativity. But sometimes when we're only aware of those negative things, it prevents us from seeing the big picture. It prevents us from productively finding solutions to things. And so gratitude journaling is so helpful in this way. In a gratitude journal, you take about 15 minutes or so, and you record up to 5 things that you're grateful for. And what makes it work well is not just getting to the surface of it. Oh yeah, my lunch was really good. Oh, I'm grateful for my partner. Oh, I'm grateful for my kids and my friends, but actually letting yourself get really specific about it. I'm really grateful for my partner today because they showed up for me and gave me a big hug after a really hard day, or made me dinner when I was really tired. I'm really grateful for the weather today because there's a sparkly sun out there and I was able to get out over my lunch break and take a walk and see the trees and hear the birds sing. So you get the idea. You're being specific about it. And what this does is it tilts our brain, our mind towards the positivity. We can think of it as positive neuroplasticity. We're shaping our brain in a more positive way, and this can have a real lasting effect. And so gratitude journal might be something that you like to do. It's a nice thing to do before you go to bed because it puts the mind at ease and it puts the mind in a place where it is remembering and thinking about good things, which can help us sleep better. Some people will take the time to do this in an oral way over dinner. It's not so much of a journaling, but talking about it. And it might also be something that you do in the morning. You start the day thinking about what's good with your gratitudes, 3 gratitudes or 5 gratitudes. So that was gratitude journal. The 5th strategy is also a means of boosting positivity. It's the 3 wins. And it is a technique that helps us enhance or even just feel a sense of self-efficacy in our lives. The practice is simply to write down 3 wins for the day. These can be achievements, things that we've done, tasks that we've been able to check off, whatever feels positive and like good, like you're making strides. And what it does is it helps us increase our motivation and drive. It gives us confidence and it helps us feel momentum, like, oh yeah, things are moving forward. Because sometimes at the end of the day, we haven't maybe finished everything on our to-do list. Of course, that makes me laugh because I usually don't. But if I can name my 3 wins, then I can be like, oh yeah, actually, I have gotten some things done today. And it can help us focus on our most important achievements. It might also help us see what are the wins that we want to have tomorrow so that we start to, as it were, we're putting, as I sometimes like to say, pearls on a necklace and we can see that necklace grow over time. So when would you do journaling around your three wins? You might do that at the end of your workday, especially if you want to have this journaling practice tied to your productivity. You might be doing it at the end of the work week, like on Friday, where you take a moment and you give yourself the gratification of being able to see what you accomplished during the work week. And it might also be tied not necessarily to your work, but to another area of growth. Maybe it's around exercise and you want to think about your three wins in terms of your exercise routine or in terms of another health routine like eating well, or in a relationship in the way in which you've been focused on improving things with somebody that you live with or that you care about. So the strategy of three wins can be really good for all of that. And the sixth strategy is called a Dear Love Journal. And this is a journaling strategy that comes from Elizabeth Gilbert. You might know her as the writer of Eat, Pray, Love and many other internationally acclaimed books. And this is a journal strategy that is designed to help us access our higher self and to connect with higher self, source, spirit. Maybe even you just call it your wiser, kinder version of yourself. I'll let you think about what that is, but sometimes we're only very much in our sense of small self. And this is a journaling strategy that helps us open up to the creativity and insight and wisdom of that bigger space. And this prompt is really easy. The way Elizabeth Gilbert describes it, it is just simply saying, Dear love, what would you have me know today? And love can be replaced by any word that you prefer. Dear higher self, dear source, dear spirit. If you have a spiritual tradition with a particular divinity name that you like to use, any of those can work. Dear kind self, dear compassionate self, whatever that would be. And what would you have me know today? And then you can just pause for a moment. If you have a contemplative practice like meditation or breathing, you might take a couple breaths and even close your eyes and just let that question, what would you have me know today, drop in. And then you come out and you let the answer come. And you say, what would love, what would this spirit of unconditional love or wisdom, what would it tell you if it had a voice? And if you believe it has a voice, then you're going to listen into it. It's basically inviting yourself to ask and to receive an answer for what your heart needs to hear today. And if you've been suffering, maybe it's going to give you words of reassurance or comfort. If you're feeling stuck, maybe you're going to get words of ideas of how to move forward, creative solutions. Sometimes it's just like putting an arm over a friend's shoulders, giving comfort and reassurance. But the idea is you're writing these words to yourself. And I invite you to try it. It is a powerful practice that can leave you feeling more grounded, more calm, more supported in a world that frankly has a lot of unpredictability and uncertainty. All right, my friends, those are 6 different journaling strategies, all of which I've used, and I'm really curious to know, maybe you have some strategies that you use as well. I'm going to just recap them again. The first one was brain dump journal, right? I like to use that when my head is cluttered. The second one is purge emotional writing, when I'm totally worked up and I just need a quick fix. The third is expressive writing, when I want to dive into a particular experience that's left a lasting emotional effect on me and begin to work on it, maybe bit by bit, day by day. The fourth is gratitude journaling, where you record the things that you're grateful for on a daily basis or a few times a week to remind you that there are good things going on in the world. The fifth one is the 3 wins, that helps you have a sense of self-efficacy and momentum, that helps you see your achievements and helps you move forward. And the 6th is Dear Love, helping you access and connect to your higher self or source or spirit for reassurance, for guidance, for insight, for wisdom, for comfort. Okay. Thanks for joining me today. I'm excited to hear how you find this podcast and it's helpful for you. I appreciate you listening to the Vibrant Soulful Wellness Podcast. And if you like this episode and you want to hear more, you can subscribe to this podcast. It's currently on Spotify and it's also on my website, www.vibrantsoulful.com. And you can head over to that same website to join my weekly newsletter, get links to these episodes, and enjoy lots of other wellness resources. Thanks so much, and be soulful and be vibrant. I hope to connect with you again soon.